Hey all, welcome to Parker's Reefs. In today's episode, we're going to check out some freshly unboxed Aussie wild collected SPS colonies. Alright, thank you for joining me on yet another episode of Parker's Reefs, and as touched on in the intro, and to be fair, what is quite a mouthful, we're going to check out some freshly collected Aussie wild SPS colonies today, and I love this part of the hobby. There is just something special about the smell, the excitement, the slime, and the colours you get from some wild collected Aussie SPS colonies, and I have to admit, it is something that us Aussie reefers really should celebrate, because there's something that does not really get replicated anywhere else in the world. We are truly very special to have access to things like this, and they happen at local fish shops all across the nation, and that's exactly where I'm going to take the camera today. We're going to go to my local fish shop, who just got in a number of boxes of some beautiful new SPS wild collected colonies, and to be honest, I don't want to be anywhere else. It's exactly where I want to be. So I'm going to take the camera along so you guys can join in as well. Obviously, you won't be able to pick up on things like the smell of that beautiful slime they produce, which is strangely an intoxicating smell. It's a little bit like gasoline. Some people love it, some people hate it. But for me, there's something about the smell of a freshly collected wild SPS colony that just gets my reefer's blood pumping. So we're going to head on up to Deer Park Aquarium, put a microphone on Dave, get him to tell us about some of these pieces, and then I'm going to rip out the DSLR. I'm going to get you guys some of the beautiful close-up macro shots of this beautiful assortment of SPS. So stay tuned for that. Let's head on up to Deer Park Aquarium now and check it all out. Alright, here we are. Thankfully, I am in time to catch Dave unloading the second delivery he's had just of SPS this week, which is crazy to think that he's also had inverts, snails, well, snails are inverts, but other inverts like anemones, LPS, and all sorts of fish and stuff as well. So this is just the second SPS delivery, and like I said, I wasn't there for the first one. It's already unboxed on this top shelf here. There's some cracking pieces in there that we will get the macro out to have a good look at later. But we are here to get the experience of that fresh unboxing. Although I should also point out, Dave's got a whole second tank of SPS on this side here that has been here for a week or two now, so it's sort of saturated in its color. But I really want to go through the experience of an unboxing, because if you are a SPS reefer, or you've got some SPS in your tank, or even if you're just considering it, you need to get to your local fish shop for an SPS unboxing. There's just something about the experience of seeing these colored sticks come out of the bag and into the tank. The color looks great in the box, it looks good in the bag, it looks good under house lights, and then it goes in the tank and the colors start to come to life even more. It's a really cool experience. The smell, the slime, the color, it's everything you would want. And once you've done it a few times, you start to get a little bit of a twitch for it if you haven't done it for a while. And I gotta say, whilst I know my dream reef tank is getting pretty full, there's something special about just seeing these things getting unboxed, which kind of just scratches that itch a little bit. And I love seeing all these pieces go in and then seeing people pick them up for their very own tanks. Now, obviously, I can't replicate the smell and the slime of the SPS, but I can give you an indication of the color. Have a look at those pieces there, just the first few out of the box, and Dave's got something like 60 pieces or something to go. We won't watch him unbag them all, but we'll get a feel for some of these ones, like that bright yellow one there. Then what I'll do is I'll get him to put a microphone on and tell us a little bit about the delivery, and then of course I will break out the DSLR and we'll have a good macro look at these pieces. This piece here looks like something special. You can see the color there looks a little creamy. Let's get it in the tank and have a closer look at it, and already you can see it is head and shoulders above the others. Not very often do you see a orange or a coppery colored SPS piece with red polyps. Ridiculously cool. Gold, dare I say. Very, very nice. You can rest assured we're going to get plenty more shots of that, don't worry. Have a look at this pink and yellow piece in there in front of Dave's hand. You've got some nice highlighted yellows. But yeah, that piece there, it's probably not sitting in the most ideal situation. You can sort of see where it was cut, but man, that's bright pink. There's yellows, there's greens, there's purples, and of course, the orange, which Dave has set aside. Now, what I will do is I'll let Dave get to work on those other pieces. I just want to have a quick look at my friend over here, the frogfish. This guy is funny. He spends quite a bit of his time just pretending to be a rock in the tank, but every now and then he goes on a little bit of a jaunt around the tank like this, and it's really cool to see him kicking about. And you can see how he uses those, I think they're fins. I'm going to call them legs. He's got front legs and back legs to sort of moonwalk his way around the tank, which is really, really cool. And this guy's been eating quite a bit of food in store lately, so he's obviously feeling a bit more sprightly, and it's great to see. He's just across from the SPS tank, so he's been watching us unbox those things. You can probably smell them too, and is thinking, maybe there's some reef fish around there. But just before I do put the microphone on Dave, have a look at this tank here. He's unboxed them all now. Well, almost all of them. He tells me there's another box to come yet, believe it or not, but look at the kaleidoscope of colours in there. Now, to be fair, I have a filter on the camera and the lights are set to ultra blue and all of that, but there is no denying there's a ridiculous amount of colour in this tank. And look at all of these beautiful Aussie wild collected SPS. It is literally what gets me out of bed in the mornings to come and see things like this. I absolutely love it. And I always enjoy putting a mic on Dave and find out what he thinks about the order. So let's do that now. Dave, you've just finished unboxing yet another SPS delivery, and so you got the tanks pretty full.
We got over 60 pieces this week, so went a bit crazy, but we like to do it. We got 2 places this week. We got some old school sort of stuff up the top here with some nice little mini colonies and things.
When you say old school, enlighten me. What does that mean?
More traditional coral that the collectors don't seem to be going after as much anymore. So just some standard blue tenuous, some basic spathulata, strawberry shortcake, the stuff that's just your run-of-the-mill everywhere on the reef acro, but it's not as crazy hyped, so they're not collecting as much of it, even though it's hugely desirable.
There will be people at home saying, what do you mean? Blue tenuous, some crazy coloured spathula.
Just trying to get some standard bird's nest and stag out of wholesales at the moment is really difficult because it's not selling overseas, and they're focusing on what sells overseas, which is how they make their money.
Fair enough.
So it's good to get some of those pieces in the store.
Yeah, okay. So your top shelf here is some of the stuff we've seen before, but still highly desirable in the aquarium trade, and there's some stunning pieces in there. What about the size of them that you've got this week?
So we try to target tennis ball size stuff here.
Okay.
We find that it's the sweet spot. It's a good price. You're not spending a fortune to get some nice colours into your tank.
Right.
They're small enough that you don't have that instant tank look, and you can put multiple pieces in your tank. It's not just going to overwhelm the tank.
Yes.
They're going to give you more success. There's not as much demand to the colony, so the colony is much more resilient with the transportation and movement of it.
I'm guessing from like a sales perspective, colonies this size are going to suit tanks from 2 foot to 10 foot, really.
Exactly, whereas you get colonies that are the size of football, they're massively more expensive.
Yeah.
They don't travel anywhere near as well. They've got a much bigger demand when they go into the tanks, KH uptake, that sort of stuff. And they just fill a spot. You can think of it, the tennis ball, you can get 20 of them the size of a basketball.
Yeah. Well, you've got, I mean, this is a roughly 4 foot tank.
Yeah.
No, I'm not going to suggest that you would have this many acro in there for long-term success, but how many pieces do you think you've got in there?
I'd estimate around 65, 70, but I'd have to count them. And that's that tank. We've got this tank over here as well.
Yeah, you've still got another tank full. And then I believe you may also have another box coming that
there's a bit of a,
you'll sell some pieces out of here so you can refill.
Fit them in, definitely, because we have no room whatsoever right now.
Shop is chock-a-block. So
exactly.
An awesome opportunity to come in and grab some SPS. But you've talked about the top shelf. What about the bottom shelf here? And it's not to say that the bottom shelf is less top shelfy if you're using that sort of pun. But
so the bottom shelf's going to be a lot more pastel, a lot more glowy because it's collected on the outer reefs.
Okay.
So much more travel to get there. Sort of more, in quotations, desirable pieces. More shine to them, basically.
Right.
Now, they will saturate up in captivity. The colour is not going to be exactly how you see it when it comes in off the reef.
Sure.
Captive lights, flow, chemistry are going to make them saturate up pretty nicely.
Yes.
But they're more of your pastel sort of colours from on the outer reefs.
They're the hot SPS at the moment. They're the ones that you'll see all over Insta and YouTube. And
everyone wants the now colour rather than waiting that 6, 12 months, weeks, whatever your tank needs to get that nice saturated in-tank colour.
Right. So you mentioned that these ones on the bottom shelf are outer reef. What sort of region of Australia? I'm not expecting you to pinpoint the GPS location, but...
So they've flown out of Mackay, so around the Mackay-Bundaberg area, on some of the outer reefs there.
Right.
These have come from a wholesaler, Ocean Pets, who we used to use quite a bit, but we haven't used for quite some time.
Okay.
They seem to be revamping a bit at the moment, which is awesome. So we're starting to see a lot more stock come out of them.
There's some stunning pieces in there for sure.
Absolutely incredible.
This pink and yellow piece here, I'll be sure to get a good top-down macro footage of all of the stock that's in, but even just on this camera, the color there is crazy.
The blues and the yellows.
Yeah, blues and yellows there. And then, to be fair, it's probably the piece of the delivery.
Pick of the bunch is this guy down here.
Yeah, do you know what sort of species that is?
I'd be lying.
Yeah, fair call. All we know is it is bright, it is orange, it's metallic, and it's a crazy piece of
Excited to see
SPS.
the polyps. They could be a maroon polyp, but it's a bit hard to tell at the moment.
That's a sort of, well, quite literally a one in a delivery piece, but almost one in a season type SPS. That it's a piece that you don't see every day.
Exactly.
Something that you've got plans for with this coral?
We'll probably take a couple of little snippets off it just to frag it up so that we can have it in bigger numbers.
Yes.
But we'll still sell the leftover of the colonies. So.
Yeah, amazing. Well, anyone that's remotely in the region should probably head on in.
Getting quick, it'll be the first piece out the door, I'm sure.
I'm certain it will be the first piece bagged up. So yeah, if you're anywhere in the Melbourne region, head on in. Deer Park Aquarium. What sort of price range are we looking at for the SPSs here?
So the beauty about this stuff is they are premium high-end SPS, but because they are on the smaller side, I wouldn't call them small, tennis ball. It's good sort of, you can see them next to the Nero 5 there. They're not tiny.
No, we're talking, like international viewers will say these are like the biggest colonies they've ever seen in their life. But Aussie SPS freaks would probably say these are a small to medium colony, not a small to medium frag, but a small to medium colony.
And that lets us get them out the door at $60 each, or any 3 or more, $50 each.
Wow, very, very
So
cheap.
they're affordable, bright, colourful, and you can, with the deal again, you can get a couple of pieces and make that rainbow happen straight away.
Yeah, awesome, awesome. Now, I know today's video is all about SPS, the slime, the smell, the colour.
The smell is just, it's in your blood. Once you've had acro and you've done well with acro, it's addictive, it's bad.
We did see in this delivery, you did unfortunately have one piece that didn't ship so well.
Unfortunately, dealing with livestock, things are going to go wrong sometimes.
Yep.
And that has a whole other smell to it.
I was going to say, that's not the smell we're referring to.
That's not the smell, but the slime that the acros produce, that sort of protective coating that they make, just has this funk that the first time you smell it, you're like, oh, something's dead and dying. But it has this weird sweetness to it that when you get successful with acro, I don't know, that smell just becomes part of that addiction and gives you that dopamine hit, that reward straight away.
Extra sense to the hobby.
Yeah.
Very, very nice. But where I was going was this video is all about the SPS because you have gone way above and beyond with the SPS this week. But
typical.
You've got other pieces in as well. You got some crazy LPS in this week as fresh deliveries as well.
We've still got boxes to unpack, even though we have absolutely no space left. We've got LPS and enemies. All of the tanks are beyond full. We're actually having issues with hugs and kisses at the moment where the corals touch each other and can sting each other.
Yes.
So yeah, come down, buy some coral. There's some pretty nice pieces in.
Nice one. Oh, I appreciate you taking the time to, one, let us be here for the unboxing because, I've been in this hobby long enough that you and I both love that acro smell, so I never want to miss it, and the opportunity to see...
excitement of getting each piece out individually and seeing what's there.
It's one thing to get a message from you to say, oh man, the SPS that came in this week was awesome, you missed out on some crazy pieces. Whilst my tank's pretty full, the ability to see these pieces before some lucky reefer takes them home is all I'm after. So
we'd love to start doing some unpacking nights again once every couple of months. We just got to work out the logistics because at the moment things ship at weird times, so it just doesn't suit. But if we can get a more regular sort of Thursday night shipment, we might do like a once a month or once a quarter kind of unpack night, let everyone down and just feel that excitement within the community. Yeah,
it's an awesome part of the hobby. Well,
definitely.
I'll let you get to work on getting all of these other items out of the tank. So I'm going to grab the DSLR out and get some macro shots of these because they, as much as they look incredible on camera right here, nothing compares to an awesome macro shot of a fresh acro. So.
And give them 24, 48 hours, settled in the tank, they're going to colour up even better again.
Awesome. Oh, thanks again, Dave. Really appreciate it.
Anytime. Thanks.
All right, this is the part I've been waiting for. There's nothing better than having a good close look at some freshly collected Aussie SPS under a DSLR. And I got to tell you what, I could probably go a little bit more aggressive on the saturation and filtration here if I wanted to, but this is very, very close to the eye and the colors of these pieces. And I tell you what, you are going to lose your socks. I know it's Father's Day this weekend here in Australia, and you're probably going to get a heap of socks, but they're going to blow off your feet in a second here. So let's go through. We've got some beautiful pinks, yellows, coppery colors there, strawberry shortcakes, cheeky little yellow on the top right there. I quite like the knobbly yellow piece up the top there. That strawberry shortcake has beautiful structure to it though. Check out at the back there, this strange color. It's almost a acidy greeny yellow piece there with some nice contrasting purple correlates, and how silky smooth is the DSLR footage. I tell you what, I do film a lot. I get a lot of questions about people asking what camera I use on this footage, and I do use my iPhone for the predominantly most of the footage, but for DSLR top downs like this, I do break out the Canon, and this piece is kind of why, because have a look at that. I was not joking when I said to Dave, this is a one piece in a season type of SPS. Look at the color on it. Such a nice shaped piece, ridiculous color. That is paddle pop yellow, if not a hint of gold in there with red polyps on it. Stunning piece. I'm super excited to see what tank that goes into and what color it saturates up to, because more often than not, these SPS pieces that are wild collected do tend to just alter their colors a little bit. Not always, but sometimes. So I'm really curious to see what that one does, because I've never seen a piece come in like that before. Super cool. Now we've got that mint green piece right next to it, which gives a fantastic bit of contrast, I have to admit. This piece up the back here is really interesting. You got yellows and purples and a little bit of red in there as well. Some more strawberry shortcake there. Polyps out already. This has just come out of the bag. How's the yellow piece next to it? That would traditionally be your showstopper. That would be the pick of the delivery, but it's been overshadowed this week, which is crazy. Another nice highlighter yellow down here at the base. I do love the polyps in these things. They get quite good polyp extension, and it's almost like a clear polyp. You got that really nice pinky piece with the yellow polyps next to that showstopper. It's only a thin sort of slither of a colony, but I can imagine lots of people would find places to make that work in their tank. There's that highlighter yellow, and you can see those nice sort of clearish polyps on it. You've got another sort of variation on a strawberry shortcake there. This one's probably got a bit more green than pink on it, if that's the sort of contrast you're looking for. Here's that other yellow piece that I said would traditionally be your showstopper, and there's nothing non-showstopper about it if you want a double or triple negative, but that's a cracking piece. How about it? Look at the yellow on it. It is just super nice. But there's more to see. We've still got the rest of this bottom shelf before we get to the top shelf of the DSLR. So crazy stuff. We're going to have a closer look here at that strawberry shortcake. It's got a little bit more green than pink, but also some purple hues through it. Then this piece next to it here, bright purple tips, bit of a greenish sort of body to it, and almost white polyps. I'm really curious to see what sort of color that saturates into. I think the purple will probably take over, which, you know, purple's not a bad color. Heading up here, we've got a lovely sort of I'm not going to say smooth skin, but I couldn't tell you the species of this. It's a little bit different to the yellow next to it. You can see it's got yellow on either side of it, different sort of structure to it, which gives you just an opportunity to have a little bit more of that solid color through it. If you want the more correlite type sort of tenuous shape, you've got that piece next to it there, which is very nice. This little nuggety piece down here, I reckon I have seen these come in before, and the green and the purple really gets extra vibrant on them. So it's a piece that I think is fairly easy to keep, and you are going to get two very contrasting colors. It might not look the most dramatic in the tank right now, particularly compared to some of these other showstoppers, but it will settle in quite nicely. Got that pink with yellow bumps on it, which is something that I would probably roll the dice on. I think if you can get that color to stay in there, it's going to be a showstopper. But have a look at this. This is one that Dave pointed out, and this man's seen probably 10,000 SPS pieces. That's a nice yellowy, greeny piece with blue tips on it. Very nice. A nice long branching strawberry shortcake next to it there. You got this almost an acid swirl green piece here. It's probably going to reach in and just be a solid green, but it does give fantastic contrast next to this piece next to it here. Look at the purples and the pinks and the reds and the yellows, a bit of green in there as well. Getting really close to the verge of rainbow SPS there, which I know is a term that gets thrown around a little bit too often in this hobby, but man, that's a nice piece. Have a look at that highlighter yellowy green there with, again, blue tips on it. If you can keep those blue tips, that's just going to draw your eye to the tank from across the house, not just the room, the house. Another nice piece. I think there's been a couple of these pieces collected with that yellowy correlite, a real highlighter correlite with some sort of reddy polyps to it. Stunning piece. I do like the piece to the left of it there in the corner of the screen. We will probably get a closer look at that in a second. We'll head down and have a look at this piece here. Another sort of pretty traditional highlighter yellow there, and I don't want to dismiss it because highlighter yellow is good stuff. It's bright. We got some more of this beautiful piece here with the toxic yellowy. I'm going to say yellow. I'm not going to say yellowy green anymore. I think that's yellow. I am colorblind though, so I guess you can sue me if you want. I've got red polyps on that there. And we're coming back up to this interesting piece here, which has got a real strange assortment of colors in it. I've got to say, it's not the most attractive cut of piece. It's almost like a sandwich of tabling acro. It's been cut on a strange sort of very robotic sort of shape, but it could really be an interesting piece, particularly if it does continue to table. Down here in the bottom left, I tell you what, these colors are a little bit muted in there, but there is some stunners in there. You got yellows, you got pinks, you got purples in there, and it's got polyps all over it. It's a good sign of a healthy piece. I think if those colors richen up a bit in the home aquarium, it's going to be a showstopper. Up the top left, just to round out the bottom of this tank, look at that. Man, there is some bright pieces in here. I'd love to know the reef they've been collected from and chuck on my snorkel and flippers and get out there and check it out. But let's head up to the top of the tank. These are the pieces that Dave said are more traditional pieces and not quite the it pieces. And we start off with this fluoro yellow piece here. I do apologize for how close we are to the acros. This is on the top shelf and it is about... Well, they sit about 1.5 inches underwater, and the camera needs at least about 1/2 inch of water to just to not get the reflection. So we are almost touching these colonies as we just pan over the top of them. And these pieces have been in for a few hours now, so they're not fresh out of the bag like the bottom shelf, but yeah, they've still got no shortage of color. Look at those coralites on that. Crazy nice stuff. Dave does get access to some ridiculously nice acro, there's no doubt about that. And I tell you what, I do hope he can get back to the stage where he can do regular unboxing nights, because they were a real social activity. People will come in, maybe have a cheeky little drink, a soft drink of course. There'd be some pizza, someone would order a pizza and it'd get passed around a little bit. Everyone would talk their war stories of their reef tank, and when some nice pieces had come in, you'd often see people buying them and cutting them up, and you'd end up with, you know, a frag of about 5 or 6 different colonies rather than just one colony, and it was a really good way to share the love around. So hopefully that is something that can sneak back into Deer Park Aquarium, because it is some of my fondest times in the hobby. But back to the SPS that is right in front of us now, because these pieces are fantastic. I can see what Dave means now about these being your more traditional pieces. They don't quite have that pop factor of some of those colonies down on the bottom shelf, but a trained eye will see some things here that you don't see every week, and that's really what you're looking for in SPS. There is quite a lot of variety of SPS in the Great Barrier Reef, and well, in other reefs around Australia as well, but every now and then something just comes through the collector's hands that is just a bit different to what you've ever seen before. And as a true SPS freak, that's exactly what I'm looking for. I want the piece that no one else has seen before, which is, you know, probably a little bit selfish of me, but that's the hobby we're in, I guess. Don't get me wrong, I do love strawberry shortcake, and I do think there is thousands of varieties of it. But most SPS tanks have a strawberry shortcake in them. So, I don't know, each to their own. That little piece there on the rock's super interesting. Got a really cool little growth pattern to it. The purples and greens and blues on it. We've got another nice piece with a big chunk of rock. I'm super curious how these were collected. They've got quite a bit of rock on them, which is very unusual for SPS. Most of them just like this purple, green, and teal piece here, which is just obviously they cut off from the branch. But interesting to see the bit of rock there. That could really suit some people out there looking, or maybe having a little bit of trouble scaping or getting their SPS piece mounted to their tank, because you're sort of working with just the skeleton of the coral, which can be a little bit intimidating at first. But there are quite a few pieces in here that come with a little bit of rock, which is quite handy. Now, heading up here, this piece up the top here, top right here, is a piece I've seen a few times before, and I've got to say it's probably what I would consider one of the easiest SPS, and it gives a beautiful contrasting color between a nice minty green and a pretty richy purpley red. And then next to that, you do have a little bit more of a pastel piece there with the yellows and pinks, which looks a treat. I'm curious to see, look at all those fresh branches growing off that bottom there, off to the left. That's going to grow quickly, I think, and when you've got yellow polyps down the base and a nice furry pink polyp on top, it's going to look a treat in anyone's aquarium, really. Heading down here, you've got a nice smaller sort of standard green piece there. It's probably not the pick of the bunch if I'm being fair, but it's still a nice acro nonetheless. And then onto a nice pink piece there, which I tell you what, when you combine the solid green and the solid pink together, they do look a treat. This is a little bit of a variation on that other piece that I just said a second ago is really easy to keep. Same colors, but different sort of structure to it. So I'm not sure if it's just the color that's come across from the other SPS there, or if it is just a different different exposure, might be in a higher flow or a lower flow, but I'm pretty sure it's a different species of coral. This piece here is really interesting. It's got pinky, peachy, metallic-y sort of corallites to it with a little bit of a green polyp on it, and you can see it's got fantastic polyp extension too. Strange shaped piece, which is really going to suit some scapes. If you've got that little pizza shape in your scape and you need to just slot another piece in there, that's going to work well. There's your blue tenuous that they've talked about. And then you come across to this crazy nice peach and pink millie there, or spath, whatever species it is, I never remember. But beautiful, beautiful colours on that. I got to admit or confess, they are difficult to keep these metallic colours in them. It's a very difficult colour to keep in the aquarium, but man, it's a nice piece right now. And if you can keep 50% of the colour in it, it's going to be a showstopper. Few more pieces to go before we start to wrap this video up. We've got a nice little nuggety piece down here. It's got sort of a rusty base with a little bit of a bluey sort of polyp and corallite to it there. Actually, it branches out to be quite a solid little piece there. Some orange and peachy corallites to it. Over to one of those lovely metallic pink millies and spaths here. This one's got a bit of a blue tip to it. I'll see if I can get the camera to focus on that. Yeah, nice. That is, you would believe that was made out of metal. It's that metallic. It's got a really nice colour to it. And again, being a millie spath, if you can keep that colour, you are laughing all the way to, well, wherever you want to go in the SPS world, because that's a difficult colour to keep, but a stunning piece nonetheless. Up here, we've got another one of these nice yellowy green pieces here. This one's probably leaning a little bit more on the green side, but really nice, healthy piece, good long-size colony. Got another millie spath up here. This one's a little bit more of your common colour combination where you get the pinks and greens with a little hint of a bit of a sunset yellow through the middle there. It does have nice polyp extension though, so always a great sign of health. And then we come on down to our last few pieces here. A couple more to go. You've got a nice pink here. Let's even get the camera to focus on it. Yep, nice solid pink. Maybe a little bit of a white polyp is good. And then to the left of that there, nice polyp extension out. I do get to keep the flow on when I use the top-down tube on the DSLR, and that just lets these polyps dance in the flow nicely and really show what they're going to look like in your tank. Got that nice, it's pretty solid pink piece there, a little bit of green through the body. Up the top left here, this is a piece that I do see fairly often, but it's a piece that I love. This really tight growing, semi sort of smooth skin blue and green colony. It has to be fair, a little bit of a sort of a rusty colored polyp, but it really does well in home aquariums and ends up becoming a really nice shaped piece. It just seems to do well in smaller spaces rather than out in an open reef. And then, well, it probably does well in the open reef too, I'm sure. And a nice strawberry shortcake to round things out. I'm sure you can all agree this is a ridiculously nice SPS delivery.
Alright guys, there you have it. That was the unboxing and the overview of that brand new shipment of lovely wild collected Australian SPS at my local fish shop, Deer Park Aquarium. For you guys that are local to the store here in Melbourne, Australia, be sure to head on into the store this weekend and pick out some of those beautiful pieces for your tank before I snap them up for my very own dream reef tank. And for all of my viewers that are not remotely close to Deer Park Aquarium, I apologize for giving you guys a little bit of a tease of what is some of the nicest SPS going around at some ridiculously good prices, but I hope you enjoyed the footage nonetheless and got to experience the enjoyment of it all through the lens, and I hope that I was able to bring that to you. I will wrap the video up there. It's a little bit of a shorter one this week. I hope you enjoyed the content. If you do have any questions, comments, feedback, anything like that at all, pop it in the comment section down below. I do personally reply to each and every comment there, so it is by far the best way to get hold of me. And I absolutely have to give a massive shout out to all of these names on screen here. These are my channel members who chip in a couple of dollars each and every month to make it possible for me to get out and about and get footage like this from SPS unboxing night so that I can share it with all of you guys right here on YouTube for no cost at all. So a massive round of applause to each and every one of these names on screen here. It goes a long, long way, and I really do humbly appreciate all your support. All right, guys, I will leave you with that. Thank you so much for watching. There'll be some brand new, fresh content, same place, same time next weekend. Look forward to seeing you all then. Till then, stay safe, keep reefing. Cheers, bye.